let's compare fractions. What we're doing is we're going to look at different fractions and seeing the size difference between those fractions. So we need three terms. We need to know the term less than, equal to, and greater than, and the symbols that they go with. Less than means that it is smaller than another fraction. Equal to means that they are the same or equivalent to each other. And greater than means that the fraction is larger than another fraction. And you can see the symbols. The mouth is open to the greater fraction. So that's just kind of a... Here we have two fractions, 7/8 and 2/8. I have two whole lines. We're going to use those lines to illustrate which fraction is greater or less than the other one. The fractions, remember, they're wholes and they need to be the same length. 7/8, I'm going to divide my line into 8 pieces because the denominator tells me that's what it needs to be. So I start in the middle and then I cut each piece in half until I get to 8 whole pieces. Now I need to find the 7th piece. So I just count until I find my 7th piece. My next number is 2/8. Again, the denominator tells me to divide it into 8 equal pieces. And then after I have my 8 pieces, the numerator tells me to find the 2nd piece. Now here on the line you can see which one is greater. 7 is greater than 2. So 7/8 is greater than 2/8. Here we have 2/4 and 3/4. Denominator says to divide the line into 4 equal pieces. Then the numerator tells us to find the 2nd piece. You can see that our denominators are the same for both fractions. When the denominator is the same, we really only have to focus on the numerator, and that'll tell us which fraction is greater than the other fraction. 2, you can see, is less than 3. But that only works when our denominators are the same. Let's try another one. Here we have 2/3 and 3/3. Remember, dividing the line with an odd number like a 3, we cannot just cut the line in the middle. We use that to help guide us. Now we find the 2nd piece. 1, 2. Next, 3 pieces. And we find the 3rd piece, which is the whole. And 2/3 is less than 3/3. Here we have different denominators. That means we cannot just look at the numerator to find out which fraction is greater or less than. Because 2 and 2, they're both the same. So this could be an equal, but they're not equal because the denominators are different. So again, we're going to mark our line, put our dot on the 2nd line. This time we need 6 pieces, and we put the mark on the 2nd piece. So you can see, even though they are both 2 for the numerator, they are not equal. 2/3 is greater than 2/6. It has traveled further on the line. Next we have 1/8 and 1/3. Again, the denominators are not the same. We need 8 equal pieces. And we're going to mark the 1st piece. Here we need 3 equal pieces. And we're going to mark the 1st piece. So, as you can tell, 1/8 is less than 1/3. Okay, it is now your turn. I'm going to give you some examples, and I want to see how you guys compare the fractions. Good luck.
Finally, I've been waiting for my turn.
Mrs. Mason, oh my gosh, glad to see you. Do you want to help us out with this?
Yeah, I do.
Perfect. How fun! This is great. So,
Mine's bigger.
okay, calm down. I'm glad you're super excited. This is fun, huh? I have 1/4. You have 2/4.
Yeah, and 2's bigger than 1, so mine's bigger.
Okay. Is she right?
I'm right.
Okay, let's find out. I'm going to divide my line into 4 equal pieces, and I'm going to put my dot on the first piece. You're dividing yours into 4 equal pieces also, but you're putting it on the second mark. You are correct, Mrs.
bigger.
Mason. Nice job.
Good job.
1/4 is less than 2/4. Good job. Let's try another one. 5/8 and 2/8. What do you think?
I think yours is bigger.
Maybe. Let's find out. We have to divide it into 8 equal pieces, and then I'm going to mark the 5th piece. That's where I am. You also have a denominator of 8, so we're going to divide your line into 8 equal pieces and put it on the second. Yes, my fraction is larger.
Mine is less than.
True. Next, 3/3 and 4/4. What do you think?
Well, 4 is bigger than 3, but the denominators are different. So you can't just say that 4 is bigger than 3. You have to compare with the number line. Because it looks like the top and the bottom are the same, the numerator and denominator, for both of them, which means I think they're equal.
And we've talked about this before, so I think you guys already know the answer to this one. 3 equal pieces, I get the 3rd piece. She has 4 equal pieces, and we put it on the 4th piece.
Equal.
You are doing very well, Mrs. Mason. Next, 1/3 and 3/4. Which one do you think is greater?
Well, this one has more pieces, but the pieces are smaller. This one has less pieces, but the pieces are bigger. So, well, this one has 2 pieces missing out of the whole, and this one only has 1 piece to be a whole, so I think mine's bigger.
Ah, very interesting. I like how you thought through that problem. Okay, we're going to divide it into 3 equal pieces, and the first piece gets the mark. 4 equal pieces for yours, and the 3rd piece gets it. You are correct. 1/3 is less than 3/4. Nice job. 1/3 and 2/6. Ooh, I think this one's tricky.
You can't trick me.
Let's see.
It's my favorite one,
Oh, her favorite.
the equal one.
Equal? How can this be equal?
Well, like I said before, okay, 2 is bigger, but the pieces are smaller. This one has 4 missing pieces to be a whole. That one has 2 missing pieces to be a whole. But I think that because they're half of each other and one is half of 2, I think they're equal.
She's got a good explanation. Let's see if she's right. 3 equal pieces with the first one marked. 6 equal pieces, and the second piece is marked. You are correct.
They're equal.
Oh, she is on fire, folks. Next, we have 1/2 and 4/8. What do you think?
I'm really good at division.
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 We're talking about fractions.
Yeah, but this fraction line is actually a division line. So, 8 divided by 4 is 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2. So once again, I think they're equal.
What do you think? Again, I can't believe it. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. Nice job. Now we have 6/8 and 3/4. Mrs. Mason, which one is larger? My fraction or your fraction?
Well,
I think I have her stumped.
they're not halves. Like, you can't take 4 divided by 3. Which one do you think is bigger?
Well, that's not fair. I know everything.
Prove it.
6/8 is obviously larger than 3/4.
Why?
Because the numerator is bigger than your numerator. The denominator is bigger than your denominator. So mine has got to be bigger. Check it out. I'm going to mark it and show you. See, 6/8. What are the chances you're going to beat me?
I don't think I can beat you, but I think I can meet you.
Okay, I'll give you that one. 2/8 and 2/6. What do you think?
Okay, so we both get 2 pieces. So they should be equal, but your number on the bottom, your denominator, is bigger than my number on the bottom, the denominator, which really means, as confusing as it is, that
That
the
I'm
bigger number has smaller pieces.
Smaller pieces. That's true.
So you get 2 smaller pieces, and I get 2 bigger pieces, so mine's bigger.
Let's find
Greater
out.
than.
There's mine. And yours comes in a little bit ahead of mine. You are correct. 2/8 is less than 2/6.
Winning.
You are always winning in this household. Okay, you know what? I kind of like doing things a little easier. So I learned a different method. I learned that if you take the denominator on one side and cross multiply it with the numerator on the other side, you can find the answer that way as well. Let me show you. So I'm going to circle my denominator here and my numerator here. And I have 8 and 2, and I'm going to multiply those 8 times 2. And I get 16. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to take this denominator, 6, and multiply it by this numerator, 2. 6 times 2 equals 12. And 12 is less than 16.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Thank you.
Why does it work?
That's just what they told me on the internet.
Yeah.
Internet.
Back it up. Okay, I'll explain to you why this works. Okay? So, anytime you multiply by 1, you get the same number you started with. 5 times 1 is 5. 7 times 1 is 7. 15 times 1 is 15. 37 times 1 is 37. Anytime you multiply by 1, you get the same number you start with. Same thing with fractions. So if I start with 2/8 and I multiply by 1 whole, I get 2/8 again, because I'm just multiplying by 1, and anytime I start and multiply by 1, I get the same number to end with. Okay? Alright, so then we know that 2/8 times 1 is 2/8. And we also know that when your numerator and your denominator are the same, it's the same as 1 whole, because I'd have 8 pieces and all 8 would be colored in, so I'd have a whole. So I take my 2/8 and I multiply by 1 whole, which in this case we're going to say 8/8, and 2 times 8 is 16, and 8 times 8 is 64. So 2/8 is equal to 16/64, because all I'm doing is multiplying by 1 whole. But my 1 whole, my numerator and denominator, they can change as long as they both stay the same. So if we go back to the problem you were looking at, 2/8 is less than 2/6. So I take my 2/8, and you said that you want to multiply diagonally, right? So what we're really doing here is we're taking this 2 and we're multiplying by 6. But why? Because we're multiplying by 1 whole, 6 over 6. And so 2 times 6 is 12, and 8 times 6 is 48. Now when we do the other side, we want to multiply 2 times 8. So 2/6 times 8 over 8, also 1 whole, we get 16/48. So this side is 12/48. This side is 16/48, and 12 is less than 16. 12/48 is the same as 2/8. 2/16 is the same as 16/48, and 12 is less than 16.
So basically exactly what I said, just a little bit more complicated, right?
Exactly.
Well, thanks for playing. You did an amazing job. You are really good at fractions. Isn't she good?
Fractions aren't that hard as long as you understand them. And when you have good teachers.
That's true.